Hey everyone, Sean Frangella here with part 3 of our in-depth Adobe Fuse tutorial series, where we're going to talk about adding custom pre-built clothing to our character. Now, if you're just jumping in now and you want to see how we got to this point, be sure to check out the first 2 parts of this where we talk about assembling our character and customizing the geometry in the second tab. In this one, we have our character built and we're going to focus on what we can do with this clothing tab and how this works. So once we have a character built and we get into clothing, we can take a look at this library of clothing options and click any of them, and it's going to auto snap that clothing to our model and make sure it's wrapping correctly and nothing is poking through it with the geometry. So as we click each of these, we can see we can load this guy up with totally different options, and it's going to live update and snap to our geometry. Let's just take a look through some of these. And we can really pick some pre-built clothing without having to worry about doing the technical work of making sure it's all wrapping correctly. And if we were to turn on this wireframe view in clothing, we can see the geometry of the clothing. And if we go to the customize tab, we can take a look and see how the clothing geometry is intersecting with our original character and show or hide clothing, where we can see the original character and still see that geometry that's been added and how it's being built. So that's pretty cool to take a look and see how it's snapping that to the outside correctly for this character. Let's go back to clothing and we can add some more. So there's a pretty big library to start with some pre-built clothing. If we keep going through this, we can take a look at bottoms and drop in some pant options, add some custom shoes. And again, it's going to snap those to the scale of this character, and even add in different hair options if we want to add anything in. And as we're doing this, if we see something we don't like after it drops it in, we can get our arrow tool, click on it, and just press delete, and that'll remove it from our character. Now, there's also some cool accessories like hats, which again are going to auto snap to his scale, which we could then delete if we don't like it, as well as things like some cool sunglasses and different options for those, and things like facial hair like beards and mustaches, which we can add or delete if it looks kind of too much, down to adding gloves to the character with these couple ones that are set up so far, which again does a nice job of automatically snapping to our character. And if we go back to the customize tab, now that we have clothing, we can actually still edit this, and it's going to edit both the character and the clothing. So if we were to make edits to our model, say we want to adjust the hands a bit, we can grab our hands, make those adjustments, and you can see as we push it beyond, it looks like it's poking out through our clothing mesh. But as soon as we let go, it's going to run that programming to update that automatically, and you can see our clothing automatically shifts to where it should be. So we don't have to delete and re-add clothing, even if we want to go back and edit our model. And we can get this guy all geared up with some cool pre-built clothing. Now, where this gets to be really cool is the next part when we jump into texture, where we can completely edit and customize the look of our clothing and materials. So if you want to continue on with that portion, be sure to check out the next video where we'll talk a lot about customizing our materials, editing those, and even some tricks about how to bring those into Photoshop if you want to. And if you just want to jump ahead and check out what you can do with these 3D character models once you're done with it, you can check out my quick videos about how to take those 3D models into Photoshop and drop in some mocap data, as well as spitting them out into full 3D apps like Cinema 4D. And if you want to keep getting cool 3D tutorial videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel at youtube.com/Sean Frangella, as well as hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions, want to interact on the social networks, or request tutorials. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you at the next video.
Do
Do you like watching these tutorials and want to see more episodes more often? You can help keep the show going by lending your support on Patreon at patreon.com/SeanFrangella. More importantly, if you want to throw in a couple extra bucks, you can get bonus content like project files used in the tutorials, answers to direct questions, live hangouts for questions, and even request specific tutorial topics for me to use for my next video. Also be sure to subscribe to the show by clicking the subscribe button or visiting the show homepage at youtube.com/SeanFrangella. And if you're hip with social media and have a question about this tutorial, you can find me on Twitter at SeanFrangella. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you at the next video.